How about a sample?
All right, well, we're just going to get right into it again. Everybody, welcome to 2 Cents Podcast with your host, Nolan Gugino, followed by Noah Sizemore. We got Jeffrey Parks again today. Now, to start off this cast, I think what we're going to do most of the time is we're going to open it up with a little random question that we come up with. And what we like to do is we like to surprise Jeff with it because, you know, somebody's got to have a real reaction to what goes on. So, Noah and I were talking the other day, and we had a question that we wanted to know what you thought. If you saw your bro in porn, would you watch it to see what's going on?
So you're just randomly scrolling one day, and you see your friend's face pop up.
So, like, say you're going through Pornhub because, you know, you're bored one night, and you see me on porn. You see me on Pornhub. Are you going to watch it to be like, I want to know how he fucks? Or if he can.
I'm gonna keep it 1,000.
No. Really?
Yes. No, I'm not.
I gotta be kind of curious.
I'm not that curious.
Really?
Yes.
See,
I swear to God, I am not that curious.
It
For
depends.
you guys' sake. I mean, okay.
See, but here's the thing. If I'm putting it on Pornhub, I obviously don't care if you watch.
That's
because
true.
At this point, everybody's watching.
That's true.
So, like, why would I care if my boys watch when fucking Sally in Connecticut's watching me fuck?
See, let's just make a disclosure here. We're not talking about jacking off to it. We're talking about out of curiosity, clicking on it and watching.
That's what I was gonna
This
say.
is purely for watching. This isn't sport. This is watching.
This is not for sport. I'm just doing my research. I mean, for research purposes only.
I mean,
I don't see
I
why
say
not.
I'd be too curious not to.
Yeah, I
mean,
gotta know. Like,
I'm not watching all of it, and like, you know, but I can't say I wouldn't want to see what
I mean,
they
like,
said.
this might sound weird, but I want my boys to be able to throw down some dick.
Oh my goodness.
And also,
That leads
I
to
would-
healthier relationships.
I would want to see the girl in it too. See what my bro's got going on. I mean,
I don't know. Like, I just want my boys to do well in every aspect of life, and that includes fucking.
Are you like giving out the fucking handbook? You're like, here's the fucking Bible.
Well, no, if I'm gonna be like, I'm not. Nah, I think that's a little crossing the line.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think giving pointers is where you're kind of like dancing with the devil a little bit, and you might
okay.
not.
You're just saying if I put this information out there, they gonna look at my highlights and take.
Yeah,
it.
it's more of like a I want to know if you're okay type of thing.
Oh my god.
see, it's different too. If you like told me I have a porn video out there and you should go watch it, then I'm definitely not watching
That's
it.
gay. Then
if
that's
you tell
gay.
me about it, I'm not watching it.
I can understand
That's
that
sus.
because when you're doing it like by your own power, like, I'm curious. Wonder what this is like.
And if you just randomly scroll past it and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? Like,
You have
I know
to.
him.
Like,
It's
you have to.
I
Yeah,
feel like at
yeah,
that point
that's
I would
true.
have to be like, yeah, I have to
that's
watch
true.
it now.
That's true. That's
So
true.
that brings up a question that we also came up with.
Oh,
if
God.
it's your girl that you find out had a porn video, are you gonna watch it?
I couldn't.
I couldn't do that, bro. That would
No
hurt.
way.
See,
No.
but it's weird how that goes, right? Like you low key want to check out your boy fucking, but as soon as your girl's getting fucking railed by
But with your
somebody
girl,
else,
that's someone
that's
you
when it's a
like
problem.
love. That's like with your friend, you have no like.
Fuck my boys.
Yeah.
I love y'all.
Oh, fuck my boys.
But like that,
With your girl, it's like, I can't see this.
but
shit.
it's like it's the same thing. It's like you're not curious to how she takes dick because you know how she takes dick. You give her that dick.
My goodness.
But now everybody sees her take dick. It's just like
That's just heartbreaking to think about.
there's a whole lot of dicks being given and taken, and like
imagine you see the preview and it's your girl, and then just a 10-inch cock right there. I would die.
all right, man. Well, I guess that was our little opener. We got some other shit to talk about. So earlier before we started recording, me and Jeff decided to take a ride to Guitar Center.
Oh my god.
Going perfectly fine. Traffic was slow. It was fine. Then after, we fucking get like maybe 5-10 minutes outside of Guitar Center.
I know exactly where we were.
And this girl pulls out. She's a little red Focus going against a RAV4.
I would have never seen this like we're watching this like both of us are looking straight forward at the road, watching it as it happens, and we're like in shock because like 5 seconds after it's done, we're like, what?
And so we're watching what's going on because she's the first car ahead of us. So
Yeah, like
we're
it's right in front
behind
of
her.
us.
Okay.
And so this little red Focus pulls, like she's driving forward, and this RAV4 pulls out and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And then the Focus tries to swerve out of the way, but can't go into the oncoming traffic because, I mean, it's a fucking busy street.
Hold on.
Is it 2 lanes or was it just?
It's,
it has to be
it's
2
two lanes
I'm
going both
guessing.
ways.
Yeah.
So the RAV is in
You're on
front of
Ridge?
us going straight on Ridge.
No, it wasn't the RAV, it was the Focus.
No, bro, the Focus was pulling out and T-boned the RAV.
No, it didn't T-bone, bro. It was the front of the car. So the RAV4 was pulling out
What?
from the neighborhood.
I swear I thought the car was in front of the...
It was the Focus that was in front of us.
So it wasn't even the Focus's fault?
No.
Oh my god.
Because she tried to swerve out into the... So she swerves out into the outside lane and tries to avoid oncoming traffic so she doesn't get fucking hit head on.
Yeah.
And so she dinks the RAV4 with the fucking passenger side, the front passenger side of her car. And this RAV4 flipped 4 fucking times.
Oh, it like rolled, bro, like down the street.
Rolled,
and we're like, what
and
the
it
fuck?
rolled onto the fucking curb. And we stopped dead in our in the middle of the road. I'm like, bro, what the fuck
That's a
just
heavy ass
happened?
vehicle
Dude,
too.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so many people
Yeah.
got out, were running over, trying to get the doors open. They couldn't get the
Yeah.
doors open.
Did you
I'm
guys
like,
get out?
Oh, God, no. We were in shock. And there were, like, all these
Yeah,
people
no.
running over, and we're just
I
like...
pulled over to the street
I don't
on
know
the
what to do
side because
now.
I was like,
Yeah.
what do we do? Like, do we go like? What do you do in that situation? Like, do you go out and help? Like, do you feel like you
Yeah,
can really do
dude.
anything? Or
Yeah,
like,
I think when it's that busy and there's so many people, there's nothing you can do. It's different.
well,
if you're
then like
you know, the
everybody
only person
stopped.
around.
Fucking
Yeah.
Like
Jimmy John's driver
the
stopped
people
and
in
hopped
the
out.
like there were like maybe 5 or 6 cars in the oncoming traffic that all got out to try to help.
Yeah,
So like we were sitting there like, what the fuck can we do? Like that'd just be like 13, 14 people just gather around a car that nobody can get in.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to yank on the doors, they couldn't get them open.
Yeah,
they were trying to
dude.
do everything.
God, it was like straight out of
and
a
they couldn't
movie.
get anything. Yeah, it was fucking bro. It was low key kind of scary.
They probably had to bring out the jaws of life when the firefighters
They couldn't
got
get
there.
the doors open,
Yeah.
like any of the
Yeah.
doors.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it was
Cut 'em
straight
out.
on the windshield. Like, it was rolling and it just landed on the windshield. So, I
Fuck.
mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
That
it was
just crazy.
See if the person like was moving at all, or they
I had no
act
idea.
like it was okay.
So I could see through the whatever's
All I
front
could
window,
see was the fucking airbag taking the whole
all you
window.
could see was the airbag was like taking up the whole window. So it's like you can't even see inside the car.
But
You
I'm
couldn't even see the back windows.
assuming they didn't get out easily because the cops were fucking booking.
Oh, they were. Yeah,
to
we
get
saw
to that
that.
site.
We were like barely even like another 100 feet down the road, and the cops like swerving through all the traffic.
And I mean, I'm assuming they always react like that, whether they're out or not.
Oh,
But
yeah. When you roll over like that,
yeah, in an instance where I'm seeing people that can't get them out of the car, that's kind of how he was moving.
Yeah, there was a
that
lot of people-
she's stuck in the car. Well, other news that's not going on here. We had some fights being announced since the last podcast. Jake Paul is set to fight UFC fighter Ben Askren. Thoughts?
I'm kind of excited for it because Askren's not a heavy boxer, and he's a decent boxer when he has the wrestling to back it up. And people are afraid in, the UFC octagon about his wrestling. So then he can kind of do different things with his boxing that's unorthodox. But he's not going to be able to do that in just a straight up boxing match. So I don't know. I think Jake's going to win it.
I think this dude's getting fucking smoked.
But I think Ben's going to tap him up. I think it's probably going to be a long fight. Because it's not easy to knock out a UFC guy.
It'll be
That's the
longer
difference.
than the
They have
first
fucking
2
chins.
rounds. It'll be longer than the first 2.
That's for sure. It'll be better than the first two.
I think it could go to the decision, honestly. I think it will.
You think so?
I think so.
It'd just be better for Jake. Like just
Yeah,
to
he
fight
does.
a
He
real
does need to
fighter.
go. Not
Especially
even
against
that. Like
someone
he
like
needs to
him.
go into late rounds. Like he
Yes.
needs to learn what it's actually like to have a fight that's not a clear cut knockout in the first couple minutes.
or against Deji.
Because that's what
Yeah.
Askren does. He pressures people like Habib does.
Yeah.
And that's what he's so good at. So I think if it goes late, then he could knock him out. Because that's not what Jake's ever seen. Because he's
Yeah.
never had a late fight, has he?
And I don't no, not or well, I'm
Because I was trying to think if like his first fight went very long.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of because that's the only one that would have went.
Yeah,
The one
Long
against
at all.
Deji?
Yeah,
because I don't remember at all what happened in that fight.
I don't
'cause
either.
I didn't care.
Yeah.
to
I
watch
didn't-
it or anything.
Oh, God. I remember trying to watch some of it, but Deji's just didn't care. Like, Deji just didn't care about... I mean, he kind of tried to train for it a little bit, but he, like, didn't
Yeah.
even look...
that was such a bad event, bro. Like I mean, like in
was
the
so bad.
like
It was a money grab.
statistics,
It was a huge money grab.
statistically, it was a great fight. But actually watching the fight as like a sports fan, it was one of the worst things you could ever watch. But I mean, I think I think Jake Paul's gonna win, and two, I think he needs to win this because if he does, then that fucking floods the gates open for fighting Conor McGregor. Because at this point,
Or at
you have
least
the
the next
kid.
step.
You have the kid who's running his mouth, you know, disrespecting you, your wife, you know, everything under the sun. And he's beating up UFC guys on top of that.
Yeah, I still don't think it's in the near future though for that to happen because I
I don't know, bro. I mean, McGregor's coming off another loss.
but it just doesn't make sense for Conor to take it if he wants to stay in the UFC and like win another belt. He's got to stay in the UFC and keep fighting in the UFC if he wants to be a champion.
I think if he loses
Especially in
another
my
one,
weight.
if he loses another one, he's gonna dip down and fight Jake Paul.
So you think if they do him and Dustin part 3 and he loses that, then he'll fight Jake Paul?
Yeah. I will honestly, no matter who he fights, if he loses again, he's going to Jake Paul. And at that point, he looks pussy. He's already in the underdog spot, in my opinion.
Imagine then he loses to Jake. Is that
Then his
Conor
career is
being
open.
done?
Or
Yeah.
open. His career's over.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. So that's why he's really got, like, he seriously has to come back in a way that nobody's ever seen. Because he is lacking a lot of fire.
Yeah. It's Conor fucking McGregor though.
Not anymore. Or at least not
It's-
from what we're seeing.
But that's the thing.
Because Conor fucking McGregor wasn't getting knocked the fuck out.
Okay, but Poirier just fought a better fight. And that wouldn't, because his boxing and everything else looked so good that fight.
Yeah.
That first round, people were kind of forgetting about that. He looked fucking good against Poirier.
Yeah.
And then those leg kicks just tore him down. And then once you can't stand on your leg or put pressure on it, I mean, it opens you up for so much shit.
Yeah. Another fight announced. Ryan Garcia's fighting Manny Pacquiao. I'm gonna be honest, I don't care. I mean, it's Manny Pacquiao, but you know, I think he fought Manny Pacquiao too late, and plus he's not winning. Ryan Garcia's not gonna win that fight.
He's not. He should have fought Davis first.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't be running from Davis. That's what he's doing.
You think so?
Bro, he could have easily had a fight with Gervonta in like a couple months.
See, but that's the thing. I thought that was like official. I thought they were fighting.
No, they just keep fucking chirping. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I could see like, oh, I want to fight Pacquiao like a year or two later into my career when I've established myself as a fighter. Because I don't think you can just fight Campbell and go straight to Pacquiao. Like, I think you have to go through Campbell. I think you have to go through Gervonta and legitimately win fights. Because, I mean, technically, I'm pretty sure it's a title shot, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Pacquiao still has a belt. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I don't know that for certain, but I heard somewhere that Pacquiao's belt is
Pacquiao
on
Garcia?
the line. Yeah. I could be wrong. I don't know, but
Son of a...
I would like for Garcia to win, but I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We talked about this way longer than I fucking wanted to because I don't really care about this fight. So, you know, I guess that's that. But we got some other shit going on. scrolling through Twitter the other day, mind my fucking business, chilling. And then I come across it was like a quote tweet. Somebody was making fun of it, and I fucking click on the link. And it's that, do you remember that JuJu on the Beat kid?
Stop.
Bro, this dude
Oh, no.
is a cum guzzler.
Does he do it for money?
Yeah.
He's getting paid for this?
It's a fucking OnlyFans.
There's no way
What
he's
the
not.
fuck?
Somebody out there willing to pay for it.
Like, I pull up his Twitter, and it's just... The first thing I see is him with a dildo
Oh, my dignity.
that's, like,
Oh my
suctioned to the wall, and it's got somebody's cum. Somebody's cum.
somebody's-
I don't know if it's his.
Whose cum
is this?
I mean, that's the most readily available
Bro,
to him.
he's,
So,
he's underneath it with his tongue out looking up
Stop,
at it.
bro.
come on.
Stop painting
That's
this
his
picture, man.
That's as far as I got in. I gotta paint the picture. If I fucking saw it, I have to tell you what I saw.
And then he sent it to us.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did send it to you guys. Yeah.
I definitely didn't even want to look at it.
No, I don't blame you. This shit's horrifying. But
The
yeah,
preview
bro,
of it wasn't enough.
this is what happens to dudes who are one-hit wonders, bro. They fucking fall
You going
off.
JuJu on that D. Oh, I gotta stop.
That's the title right there. JuJu on that D. Fuck.
Oh, no.
That's what happens, man. That's what happens to people who are one-hit wonders. They fucking fall off and they start doing this stuff to get back.
JuJu on a beat.
The bad part is he's probably making so much more money doing
Oh
this
my
than
god.
he ever did
I don't
off
even
music.
doubt that. I don't even doubt that.
Do you think that, honest to God, people are going to want to watch a dude come on a dildo?
Yes.
Why else
And
would you do that,
suck
though?
it.
Why would you be posting all over Twitter and
Because you're weird.
advertising
Nah, people
it?
want to pay you for it, bro.
I don't know, bro.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I guess it don't make sense because obviously I'm not going to fuck around and do that.
Well, I mean,
I hope not.
So,
Hell
like,
no.
so you guys wouldn't watch it if I did that.
Oh my god,
So
stop.
if I just popped up. and-
Stop.
I'm just saying we were talking about it earlier.
I'd probably have to move out of the state if you did that.
I can't even be in this state no more.
Yeah, man. So I guess
I can't breathe this air. I'm going to a different planet.
there's been a lot of shit going on as far as like weird sexual shit going on.
Oh, you gotta love it.
We got fucking T.I. and his wife
Oh, Lord have mercy.
with what was it, sexual assault allegations?
I don't
was
even
gonna
know
say,
what to believe anymore.
You got the story on that.
I don't
really
even
know
like
much
know
about
what to believe anymore after going to T.I.'s Instagram page.
it.
Because
So what happened?
it was like
What's the allegation?
So it was some random. I guess it was like an Instagram reporting account or something like that. I guess they had some sort of credibility for T.I. to mention him, but they had started getting like apparently they started posting a bunch of rumors from different people that had really like the same kind of story involving T.I. and his wife Tiny and them like having like group sex with minors and feeding him drugs and all this stuff, and then I go to T.I.'s page and it's like this 8-minute video of like I'm gonna be honest, I don't normally watch this stuff. When I watch T.I.'s video, I honestly believe him because he made a lot of good points. And okay, so here it is. Sabrina Peterson was her name, but she was caught posting fake victims. Fake victims. Multiple people. Like multiple different fake stories that she was posting. Bro.
Right. Yeah.
Like
So they were proven fake? Not just
yeah,
said they
T.I.
were
was
fake.
posting the screenshots of it like from
Okay.
the other accounts, and like he even like you can
Okay.
go to the account shit and look at it, but it's just like and like I'm watching this video from T.I. and he said a lot of stuff that made a lot of sense to me because obviously like a lot of these like allegations and shit can go on with people who we have no idea what's going on. None of us know any of these people. None of us know T.I., Tiny. Come on.
See, but that's where it gets interesting with shit like that because you hear allegations like that and it's like, you know what? Like he is because he is an upper echelon dude.
Yeah, he's
in the music industry. He is of that upper echelon.
Without a doubt.
And when you hear shit like that, you like at least for me, I think this guy's got way too much to lose.
Right?
This dude's trying to be a voice for the black community. He's trying to uplift people, put people in powerful positions. He's trying to do all these things to uplift black communities and bring them to a upper echelon that they should be in.
I couldn't see him doing something with like
So-
something that has such a loose end. Like
Yeah, so like
even that's
why
really
the
a bad way to
fuck
look
would
at
he
it,
do
but-
some Jeffrey Epstein type shit with his wife
exactly.
when he's trying to make this grandiose change in the way that our culture works?
Yeah, and he made really big points about the things that like really convinced me about what he was saying was he wasn't really talking about himself. He wasn't really talking about the allegations against him. After about a minute or so, he started more talking about how much it hurts people who really had been through something compared to the people who are just making stuff up. Because of how much that just tears those real victims down. It takes away their platform because you're using their platform to lie.
And that's what's crazy about people doing shit like this to take down people like that is you have a real issue of people lying. So when you hear these stories, it's so easy to be like, nope, you're lying. Or it's just as easy to be like, yep, that's the truth. Get them.
That's the very
And
hard part about
Here's
it.
the thing: people stretch the truth so much.
Oh, yeah.
So I bet T.I. and his wife are into some freaky stuff. They
Oh, that's
probably
what he
have
said.
group sex and stuff like
That's what he
that.
said for sure.
But then people start adding in. They start saying there's minors
Minors.
in there, and they say you're fucking drinking their blood, all this weird
Yes.
shit and
Yeah,
stuff like
dude.
that. And it's like, what the fuck? No, I'm not.
And
but
they were saying stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows? You can't believe anything at that point because it's
Clout.
like, is this small detail correct or is it not? Because it's just hearsay.
Right. And it's
So-
like a lot of that's
and-
like clout driven too. Like they just want, if I can make this juicier than it really is, I'm gonna get more clout. I'm gonna get more and more and more.
Bro, it's
whatever.
so dangerous, especially when you're a fucking
So dangerous.
dumbass and you can't double check yourself and make sure that nobody can find out that you're making up these accounts.
So dangerous.
Like if you're gonna make something up that's of that serious, if you're gonna make up that serious of an accusation, you better be able to cover that shit up to
Right.
get him in trouble.
there's
Because
like
at that point, once you're proven wrong,
it's over.
it's over for you.
Yeah.
It's over for you. You're not.
And you already hurting the people now that you trying to act like you help them by putting T.I. on blast with fake screenshots and shit, but now you're really hurting all those other real life victims because now they're going to be looked at differently, or the victims that come out in the future are going to be looked at like they have to be wary of whether they're lying or not.
It's such a weird thing where like every lie sets them back 2 steps. Like that's how I look at the Me Too movement. Is like every time somebody comes out and it's a lie, that takes the movement back 2 steps, whereas somebody with the truth could take them forward 4 or 5.
Right.
Yeah.
So like that's the issue with it is that movement gets shunned so many fucking times because you see stories like this with people of that echelon like T.I.
Yeah.
where they're lying. So you're thinking, oh, well, if this random girl who was raped by somebody else that we don't know, let's ignore that. She's probably just
Exactly.
trying to get attention or
just
some shit
undermines
like that.
everybody else.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. It's
Very
it's
dangerous.
tough, man. We live in a really, 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 really weird society where lying is the thing. Because lying is what gets you attention. Nobody
it's
gives
so
a shit
easy
about
now.
the truth.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
With social media, people can put anything out there and then people believe it. I mean, you get a few retweets on something and then it becomes the truth.
That's why there's so many fucking conspiracy theories
Oh
now.
yeah. And then people eat that shit right up. And those people, they just like they rub off on each other. Like somebody acts a certain way and other people like just see that certain comment or certain thing and they like attach themselves like, oh, I understand that, let me like that, and then they start thinking that way and start acting that way, and then people start losing their sense of understanding the perspective of every situation, because then they start looking at every situation from just one perspective of, oh, you must be a liar, you must be lying, and how do we know if you're not lying? Well, you can't just let one thing determine that everything is going to be like that. You can't let this, even when something bad happens, you got to understand that doesn't mean that that's the standard. That's how it's going to be. It's never going to be like that unless you make it that way. And that's the problem with a lot of people is they take one thing and they make that their belief now. And then they try to put that onto other people. And it just is a chain reaction of cancer.
Well, and to flip the coin, on the other side of the Me Too movement, that's some real shit. We got Jake Wheeler
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
fuck, yeah.
The Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks. Is it the offensive, defensive lineman?
I think he's offense,
Who
yeah.
gives a fuck about this scumbag? Honest to
Yeah.
God, I didn't read too much into this story. I saw that he beat a girl so bad that he thought she was dead.
From what I understand from it, and from what I saw, he told her to like bow down to him, and when she wouldn't, he strangled her, beat her, and left her unconscious, and then started to eat his dinner right there by her body. Yeah, and then she woke up while he was eating, and he said, "Yeah, I can't believe you're still alive," or something like that. Yeah. How
An
awful.
absolute fucking scumbag.
Electric chair.
And it has not made the fucking news.
Chair, but electric.
Yeah,
I've not seen it on ESPN once.
I don't really watch much.
When that
ESPN.
shit happened to AB, that was everywhere.
Oh yeah.
You
yeah,
couldn't
that shit
go-
was false,
It was
too.
on ESPN. It was on Fox. It was
Yep.
on everything. But all of a sudden, this fat ass white dude beats a girl and strangles her to almost near death. Nowhere.
Yeah.
The team doesn't address it. The fucking ESPN doesn't address it. They addressed it once.
Yeah.
and it came up like 2 days after it like had happened
Mm-hmm.
on like Twitter. It's just like what the. Like,
It's unbelievable. But
can't
that goes back to the conversation that we had. When you have, or I don't know, that doesn't even go back to the conversation. That comes down to a race component.
that's just so.
It does, like, at the end of the day, it does come down to a fucking race
Why would you
component.
I
do
think
that?
it comes down to race, and also comes down to the fact that he's not like a star. And I think these big platforms only care about shit when it happens to a star. You know, like with AB, Ray Rice, they're big black
That's true,
stars,
that's
and
true.
I
But
mean,
even
it's
then,
an
when
easy
it-
target. Then
Even then, like, it's in the sport, you know? And, like, NFL is, I would say NFL is making a tiny comeback considering, you know, everything that's happened with Kaepernick and the hit they took in the ratings and all, and things like that. I think they're starting to get a little bit back. And when you do when shit like this happens, you want that to be addressed and you want that to be handled the correct way. He should never be able to walk on a football field ever again. He should be in prison for the rest of his life. If
don't
not,
doubt that
put
at
to
all.
fucking sleep.
oh yeah.
Put that fat ass in a coffin.
Sad part is he'll probably get 5 years in prison at most.
Yeah.
Probation, probably even a couple years. Good behavior.
Yeah.
It's sick.
It's just like.
And then what? Then the next person gets it.
Yeah.
Another person gets almost strangled to death.
Yep.
Then what?
It's just like how can the league just it's just like the league has to be stupid to think that normal people like us don't watch this shit and then think like what the fuck is wrong with our fucking National Football League?
I was gonna say, what makes you want to watch a sport where they don't support the right things?
Literally.
Because if the way I would look at it, because I mean, I'm gonna still watch football either way, honestly. But
Oh yeah. Yeah.
looking at it from somebody that's not my perspective and that doesn't watch football that much, I would want to see the NFL at least acknowledge this.
Yeah.
The fact that
yeah.
this really happened and then handle it in a way where he's put on a fucking pedestal to see what happens when you try to do some shit like
Exactly.
this.
Make an example out of it.
Yeah, that's better than putting a pedestal.
And the NFL loves to do
Yeah.
that. They love to make examples out of everyone
yeah.
else. Like,
Yeah, but like, why not make an example out of the dude? Because that can go as an example of even if you're nobody in this league, if
We
you
don't
try to do
tolerate
some
this
shit
shit.
like that, absolutely zero toleration, none whatsoever.
That's what.
But they cut him like a few days after.
well,
It
from-
wasn't, or like,
From what I saw, he wasn't
He wasn't
even
under
on
contract
like
anymore.
yeah, he wasn't on contract
he was a
anymore,
free
so they
agent this
couldn't
year.
even really cut him.
oh,
So
okay.
I mean, technically, he's not even really a part of the NFL anymore.
I mean, at
So
least
no
the
one
Seahawks
could, like-
acknowledged it.
Yeah.
They acknowledged it, but yeah, I mean, he wasn't even technically even under contract with them. So
Well,
I
I'm
don't even know
pretty
if they
sure
were
he was
obligated.
under some re-signing conditions. I'm pretty sure he had something in the works, but I don't know. I think it's another letdown.
It's really a
Honest to
letdown
God,
because
it's disgusting that you have to hear this from Twitter because it's in the world of sports and it's ESPN's job to report the world of sports, And when something in the world of sports like this happens and it goes completely under the radar without anybody knowing, that's disgusting.
I think it's like ridiculous that normal people like us have to try to hold a National Football League accountable for something that everybody looks at them and it's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How do you not look at yourself and hold yourself accountable for that? How do you not look at yourself and think, why don't we punish this guy and show everybody that you can't do this? Why are you wanting to let these people think that you can do this?
And we don't even see enough people talking about it.
I know.
Honest to God. Like, I've seen people talking about it, but it's not near enough people to where it should be.
Yeah.
Because this dude almost beat a girl to fucking death.
He thought he did.
Yeah.
That is
he
murder.
thought he was eating
thought he
next
tried
to
to
a
kill
dead
her.
body.
He thought she was dead. That's murder in my book. He thought she was dead.
That's premeditated murder.
He wasn't
too.
even, yeah. And she's going to wake back up. He thought she was dead. He was already planned on her being dead there. And he wasn't going to do anything about it. He
Like,
should be in
what
jail.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. That's
He
insane.
deserves the
And
chair.
what psychopath starts eating dinner right after that? Who doesn't immediately go, "Oh fuck, what the hell have I done?" And I feel like any rational person,
Exactly.
if you did something so horrible like that, you're like, "How do I fix this?"
It
Like,
would be a
How,
mistake.
what do I do now?
It would be a
I'm-
huge
Need to go
mistake.
fucking eat.
Right.
You know, that shows psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah, there is no human emotion, no attachment to other people around you to where you can just completely take somebody's life from them and not even care anymore at that point. Like, to other people, that is a mistake. Now, it's a really big fucking stupid
That's
mistake.
that's not a mistake.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
For him, it's not a
I was
mistake.
gonna say, that's something so big to where that's not a mistake.
That's why I'm saying for other people, because they'd be like, holy fuck, what have I done? I knocked her out. I choked her. Or
I was
what
gonna
have
say,
I
because
done?
you can hit somebody and be like, holy fuck, what did I just do?
But have
when
to-
you're to
yeah,
the point of
dude,
where you think she's dead, nah.
It's just,
because you have to strangle someone for long to
Yeah,
like
you
think
can't
they're
just, like,
dead.
hit 'em one time
It's
and
not
boom.
an easy thing to do. That takes force
Yeah.
and a lot of time to do.
Yeah, and it's not even like he
the
just hit her one
movies.
time too. He was strangling her, holding her, and using his force, and that's just like scary.
That's a big fucking dude too.
Oh yeah, lineman. Oh my god, 300+ pounds of man strangling you. I can't believe she's still alive. God bless that girl. I can't believe that. Because that's just ridiculous.
It's awful, man. I can't believe. I mean, I don't know. I read the story and
I just don't understand how somebody gets to that mental state. How somebody gets to that. I mean, it has to be.
But that's the thing with the league. Like, they're probably going to fucking pull some mental health bullshit card to save face. And they're going to try to do all these things to where they make him look like, oh, you know, he's just going through a lot. He's in free agency. You know, his mental health and free
It's
agency
just
don't
like
combine
for us,
well.
there is no
Yeah.
saving face for the NFL. They can't come out and say mental health. 'Cause we're talking about it right now. We already see right through that. We're going to see them do it, and we're going to already see right through it. So it's just like how do we hold them more accountable to just be fucking better? Like, just be fucking better. And dude, get this fucking guy the fuck out of here. Make an example out of him. Say that this is just it's just not acceptable, and it should be known that it's not acceptable. Not something that people have to come yell at your fucking face, Roger Goodell, to make an example out of this guy because people are giving you backlash. You get backlash because you're not making the right fucking decision originally.
Like, we should see in bold headlines that he is banned from the league for life.
Should be in prison
Yeah.
for the rest of
At
his
the
life.
very minimum, if he's not in prison, if he somehow gets out of this, it should be made an example that he is banned for fucking life.
He shouldn't get
The
out.
dude's
And
life
he
needs
never
to be
touches.
ruined
He
publicly.
never gets to leave his
Yes.
fucking home again.
He needs to be in jail because he's just not safe to be around other people with that mentality, man. That mind is not we can't have that kind of person who is going to be having these ridiculous requests, like, I don't know if they're race driven, kind of bowing or whatever the fuck he's wanting her to do. Because I mean, he's a white guy with a black girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't even like that, what he's thinking. I don't even want to know. But it's just like,
Yeah, how are you okay saying that?
that's what I'm thinking. Like, I'm just like, this is just like incredibly sociopathic behavior. He has no
That's
feelings.
So weird. That's another thing we haven't even addressed. How do you tell somebody to bow down to you?
I can't imagine the other stuff he's told her before to
I
do.
can't imagine.
Oh, I
either.
know. Like, holy shit.
I wonder if it happened a lot before, because I feel like if I don't know. Might be stepping on some toes here, but if it had happened before, I feel like she would have bowed down, like, and just done something simple like that just to not get hurt. So I wonder if it's like the first time or if this shit's been like repeated and this was like the melting pot of it.
I see what you mean though, because I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing for her. It might just be, well, it could be a bad thing for her in her position to where she felt like she's like, I have him and he's being able to support me and we have like a good situation, and I like if I just do this for him, it's fine, like everything's okay. And but like if she just like eventually realizes that's just like not fucking okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm not fucking doing this anymore. Like I can't do, like this is wrong. And he like snaps like that, like that's so fucked up. And I wouldn't feel bad. Like, I mean, I don't feel bad for the guy at all, but I feel horrible for her, even if she had to feel like she was in the position to where she felt like she had to do it to just keep her living situation or her life together with him, or if he said he was going to kill her anyway or whatever.
Well, even if it was the first time, I feel awful
Oh
for
my
her
God.
because then how do you trust any other guy after that?
Exactly.
Because
That's terrifying.
if he was like, you know, he could have been the nicest guy in the world to
Oh,
her,
yeah.
bought her everything, you know,
Oh,
had her
yeah.
taken care of, and then just snapped one day, and it's like, how do you trust someone?
It's
again?
it's such a hard double-edged sword, because one side is just like how it is. It's wrong. It could be going on for a long time and be like very mentally and physically abusive. And then on the other end, it happens one time and it still ends up being very mentally and physically abusive because of the long-term effects of not being able to. This guy was so great, and then it was just like that, and it was gone.
It's just
like
disgusting, man. Like I really do hope that this man gets punished the way he deserves, and he deserves one of the most severe punishments you can possibly give.
I think it's
Because in no way, one, is it okay to put your hands on a woman, let alone beat her to near death, thinking she was dead, and then continue to eat your fucking food and go about your life like nothing happened.
That's murder, man. That's murder. It's murder. He thought she was dead. That's murder. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, if he's going to go ahead and... It's on public record that he said that. He did that. How in the world is that not murder?
At the absolute least, it's attempted
murder.
I could see him like negotiating down to that,
It's
and
like
it being like,
attempted
okay,
first-degree murder, because
yeah.
he even sits there after he thought that he had finished the job. And it's just like, oh my God.
It's the same thing if, you know, you were to walk up to someone on the street that you know and have a plan and you shoot them, but you miss their heart and you shoot them in the shoulder. Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Still attempted first degree. Yeah, and it's just like, oh my God. And I feel like we shouldn't, I feel like I want to speak more to like the people who have to suffer from those kind of people, because we don't need to talk to the people who are causing the suffering. We can't. Those people are insane. We can't really help those kind of people. And I don't really feel like many people want to help those kind of people because they make these mistakes and they never learn from them. But to the people who are affected by those people, you don't have to let that be your life. You don't have to let that be your story. You don't have to let that be what defines you. You could just let it be a chapter or a piece of you or a part of your story that you can remember or you can recall or you can use to help you bring strength back. But it doesn't have to be what defines you. It doesn't have to be that. No matter what other people say or what other people do on social media, I always think we talk so much about how bad the people are that do this stuff. And we need to remember that the people who are really suffering from this are the victims that have to deal with the trauma that comes along with being affected by things like you're almost killed by someone who then you wake up next to them and they're like, oh, you're not dead? How?
Man, speaking of fucking trauma,
Like,
bro, I'm gonna bring it up because I just watched the video. This 9-year-old girl in Rochester, bro. Rochester, New York. This 9-year-old girl gets sprayed or fucking pepper sprayed by the police.
Like, why though?
I saw handcuffed and pepper sprayed. So
She
was she
was
handcuffed and then pepper
she's
sprayed?
handcuffed in the back seat of the fucking cop car. There's fucking 4 cops on the left side of the car, and then there's I think 1 or 2 on the right side of the car. One of them's recording they have the footage from the person on the right side of the car. They are on both ends looking at her with fucking pepper spray, and they fucking spray her.
Jesus, man.
What?
Jesus.
She is handcuffed in the back fucking seat
What?
of the car.
Let me ask you this. What makes you think, as a grown man who's an officer, you have pepper spray, a taser,
You
a
are
gun,
a trained fucking
you're
officer, and you feel
She's
like
handcuffed.
you need
She's
to
9.
pepper spray a
Yeah,
9-year-old.
Yeah. How do you think you can't control a 9-year-old?
She's
just
9,
with your
handcuffed.
own hands
In your
in that
squad car.
situation.
In the
There-
back of your squad
That's the
car.
thing. She's in the car. She's not doing anything. She's fucking sitting there. She's not moving, trying to get out of the fucking car. She's not doing anything. She's literally just sitting there. There's audio to it. I didn't listen. But either way, no matter what you say, there
Doesn't
is
warrant that.
absolutely nothing that she
Nothing.
could have said that warrants
Literally.
pepper spraying a 9-year-old.
All this shows is how those cops literally have zero integrity at all. Zero.
Like, it's fucking disgusting.
There is. She could have said nothing, and they probably still would have done it just because of what kind of person those cops are. I feel like because, like, there is nothing you could say to me as a. You could be 9-year-old not handcuffed, punching me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna pepper spray you, even if I have pepper spray in my hand. I could just push you off of me.
The only way that is ever acceptable is if a kid has a weapon in
That's
any
what I was telling
way,
him.
and
I was
it's like, okay, I can't shoot this kid. I'm a pepper spray him because it's the
if
best
it's like
outcome.
a lethal weapon,
Yeah,
that's
but
it.
that's obviously not the case here.
It's just like it would have to be so specific for it to make sense for somebody to pepper spray a 9-year-old. It's like, even without having to read the article, it's like there's no reason a 9-year-old needs to be pepper sprayed.
If a cop thinks he has to resort to pepper spray against a 9-year-old who
don't
is
think he should be a
handcuffed,
cop.
yeah, then there's some severe lack of training.
Yeah, you
Yes.
should not be in any line of duty.
No, not at all.
You
Because
should go to
you're,
fucking FedEx.
you're like making life and death decisions for other people, and that's
Imagine that. You're like this. Imagine there's a next time for this guy, and there's a life and death situation with a 25-year-old. That 25-year-old is gonna fucking die.
yeah.
Yeah.
If this man has to pepper spray a 9-year-old, he is going
Wow.
to murder a 25-year-old.
Yeah, that's true, because if he feels threatened by that, I can't imagine what a real threat. He's
Yeah.
going to end up killing everybody around him. Like, that's just, like, not should not be his environment at all. Well, jail should be his environment if he's going to
It's disgusting. Yeah, you should go to. I think you should go to jail for that shit too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because at that point, that's child abuse.
It's amazing how you get all the way to that point, like, in your life where you don't make a big mistake like that, but, like, how do you get to that point? Like, I want to be a cop. I'm going to be a great cop. I'm going to go through cop school and do all this cop stuff. And then you get a call one day and there's a 9-year-old in the back of the car and you're just like, what's going on? Oh, she's freaking out. I got this. I'm a pepper spray that bitch. And then you think that's good. You're like, that's all. Oh. I knew this day was coming.
He said, guys, I got her.
What the
Don't
fuck do you
worry."
mean you got her, bro? We already got her.
She's 9.
She was fine. Now
mean
we gotta
she's
take her to
not
the
a midget?
hospital. Now she
Bro,
gotta go to
and,
the
like,
hospital.
In the
Now she's
video,
blind.
bro, and in the video, like nobody's like none of the cops are fucking looking around like, what the fuck just happened? Like, oh yeah,
That's the
we
thing. It's
fucking
just
dealt
like
with that.
it's just like one bad apple, and it's like, what do you call the other apples that are standing there looking at the bad apple?
There's a whole
like,
bag of bad apples in this video.
you don't look so bad.
There's nobody that's like throwing the cop off the kid that's pepper spraying
Yeah.
him, being
I
like,
never see
what
that
the fuck
shit.
are you
I
doing?
never see that shit. I
Yeah,
never
like-
see cops do that. I
There's
swear to
nobody
God.
Because
preventing him from doing
It's
it.
an unspoken thing with cops. You
Yeah.
don't tell a cop he's doing something wrong.
I've
You
seen
have
a
their
few
back
videos.
no matter what. And
Since this George Floyd shit has been happening, I've seen a few videos.
Oh, I
of
okay. I
cops
have
That's
that
where
have
the good
stepped
cops
in.
come out.
Yeah, the cops have stepped in and be like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you need to knock this shit off now."
because they can realize they could be a cop and still fuck the
The
establishment.
thing
still
is,
be a
people are
good
so
person.
people are so scared to do that.
You have to serve justice within the justice
Mm-hmm.
system because the justice system is the one that's failing us.
See, because
It's not the civilians; it's the system itself that is failing us.
Yeah.
I sympathize with cops. I sympathize with good cops in a way because they have an extremely hard job, and I couldn't do their job, and it's a necessary
wouldn't
job.
wanna do their
No
job
matter
either.
what anyone says, we need cops. We need good cops out there.
Police reform is what we need.
We do need some form of police reform, but we still need good cops.
Yeah, that's the thing that I
it's
was
so important. So
I was talking about this with somebody the other day, and the idea of defunding the police is absolutely idiotic.
Well, defunding
They need to refund and reform because
Yes.
they need to. These cops are not trained to be therapists. They're not trained to get into your fucking mind and understand what it is that you're thinking. Like, if somebody's in a mental break, they're not trained to fucking...
No, they're not.
They're not trained to talk you down.
No.
They're not trained to keep
They're
you
trained
calm.
to escalate situations.
They're trained to go in, execute, get the job done, keep everybody safe, and then go home.
Well, I don't know about safe.
Well, yeah, but they're to keep them safe and the
keep
people
them
around
safe, which is fucked up as fuck. They're supposed to keep public safety.
and so they're not trained to do this shit. So what they should do is take some of the funds from that training and put it into a specialized force that's meant for people having mental breaks and shit like that.
Just need to train those damn
Yeah,
officers
like you,
longer. They don't
you need
train
to-
long enough.
You need to legitimize some of these officers, so when you have these certain situations, you can have somebody come in and be like, hey, let's calm down, let's take a breath, and let's figure this out.
Exactly.
Get
You
in the
got to be
car,
the de-escalator.
and we'll get it figured out.
The de-escalator. You are not. You're a cop. Your job isn't to show up and.
I wouldn't even say it's a cop on it. Like I wouldn't even say get somebody in uniform come de-escalate the situation. You need to have somebody that's coming to you in the most friendly manner possible, and being like, hey, let's calm down.
That's what the police should be. That's literally what, like, in other countries, police, when they go to like police academy and police training and all that stuff, they are trained to when like, let's say like they get called to a situation. Nobody, I mean, unless it's like warranted, you have to shoot somebody because somebody's gonna shoot you or some shit like that. But they're trained, even if somebody's freaking out, they're trying to bring them down, not automatically pull my gun out. They're gonna do something crazy.
Yeah, they're just trying to be enforcers and executioners. They're not trying to
and
be.
that's the problem here.
They're not trying to protect the people. They're trying to enforce the people.
And
to
the problem
act
with
on
cops in
how they see
America,
fit.
cops were like, I mean, cops were almost like created in America basically just for slaves. Like if there's a whole, like, what other reason would there, like, and like the KKK is basically just cops too. Fuck, they're just wearing white. Cause goddamn it, we got Proud Boys who are cops. We got fucking white supremacists who are cops.
It's a fucking mess, bro.
It's a huge mess.
It really is disgusting to see, and I don't know what would fix it.
It just sucks because it's built upon this institution that was built on racism. It was built on we are the superiors and we decide the rules, and then
Now, I think if you were to take something like abolish the police, if you were to take that ideology and twist it to where let's start the police department anew.
Yeah.
Let's clean house.
yeah, that's reforming it.
And let's quite literally hire from the first officer to the fucking last officer, do psychiatric exams, make sure these people aren't fucked up in the head.
Exactly, that's what they need to do.
Put them in situations and see how they'd evaluate it, and then go from there.
I feel like
they need to legitimately run through these people's backgrounds, where they come from. They need to really invest in the people that are put to protect, not enforce, and to execute, to fucking protect all of us.
I feel like they need to treat being a police officer like getting a gun. Like, you can't be a convicted felon and be a police officer, or like do, I don't know, like be a felon and have to own it and try to go buy a gun or some shit, or whatever you've done in the past, have abuse allegations or criminal violence or anything like that. Like, it's crazy because so many people can't get a gun in this country, but they could go be a cop.
Yeah.
I think the screening process should be treated like the military.
Oh,
like you're
yeah.
trying to get into the Air Force.
Well, I think that
it
should almost be treated even more severely because for the military it's a little bit different because you're not on our streets, right? Like you're in your base or you're overseas, you're doing that. But when you're a cop, we see you every day. You're with us every single day. Protecting our country, yeah, you need to be sane to be doing that, obviously. But if you're a cop...
They are protecting our country. They're doing it on the homeland, though. That's
yeah,
the thing.
but if you're a cop, you really, really need to be on your shit because you're dealing with these people that you're protecting every single day.
You're on the front lines every day because you are.
And these people don't like you. That's the other thing that needs to be recognized. These people don't like you. So you need to be mentally sound enough to where you can approach a situation where you're already in a gray area and be able to still be like, hey, we're going to figure this out. Let's just get through it. Let's work through it. Let's go.
Well, it needs to start high up. And that's the thing, because looking at it from like a chief of police or something, you know, someone high up in the police department, I don't know how you really could change things that, you know, quickly and at a big enough degree that it needs to be done. So it needs to happen in the White House. It needs to happen in the Senate and
Work
Congress
its
and
way
places
down.
like that. Yeah. Because we need to start at the root of the problem, and that's the people in power above the police departments that tell them what to do and what needs to be done.
It's
All
just
right.
That decide the budget and
Well-
decide everything for the police departments.
All right. Well, we went on a very serious track for a while, so I need to light my own mood. So Noah,
I got a
this is
couple
gonna
stories.
this is gonna
for
be
us.
our part of the podcast, a little segment here where we have Noah just kind of shuffle through some bullshit stories,
I'm here for it.
create some situations, and
I'm ready for the city.
get our fucking brains moving somewhere else. Cause Jesus Christ, this got heavy.
I'm gonna start out with a fun one. There was a couple in Myrtle Beach that has been arrested 2 times now in the last week for having sex publicly. Once on it's called what are those called?
Ferris wheels.
Ferris wheel, yeah. They have like a big ass Ferris wheel there, I guess. And the other time was by a playground and in a parking lot.
God.
Yeah. And they post them on, I'm guessing Pornhub or something like that. It said some porn website.
God.
And that's what got them caught. Was I guess some cop had to have been scrolling on
God
there or
damn
something
it.
because in that situation I don't see how someone snitches on them for that. I mean, I don't get that. That has to be a cop sees that. It's like, oh fuck, they're having sex here. I gotta turn this
Yeah.
in.
Crazy.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't know. That's I mean, that's interesting.
And the female in the situation had been arrested twice for urinating in public and indecent exposure.
Oh, so they just wild ass people.
Yeah, they don't get fucked.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's. I don't know.
Ferris wheel.
Because I kind of get it. Like, I mean, if you're in like a
It's-
private public place, and like, because I mean, I've had sex in a
Yeah, I
in
get,
a-
I
in a
get the
public
excitement
place
part of
before.
it, you know, but like, yeah, it fell off. I'm fucking giving up on the charger. Yeah,
But you don't snitch on yourself and post it
Nah,
somewhere.
yeah, that's not something
Especially
you go and fucking post.
Especially when you have like indecent exposure and
Do
public
anything for
nudity.
clout.
And
Yeah.
He said, "Fuck my charges."
Now, if it wasn't recorded, are you still doing it?
oh yeah,
You're fucking on a Ferris wheel?
probably.
Fucking on the Ferris.
I mean, if
Probably.
If your
I'm
girl-
doing that shit.
if your girl looks over at you and gives you that look, you're telling her no. No, you're not.
I
Fucking
mean,
on the
she's
doing
Ferris.
it right
listening
there.
right now. I'm fucking doing it. I know Jeff's doing it. Little disgusting ass.
Jesus.
All right. What else you got?
We have the story about I think it was Slovakia. A woman was inside a gas station that was being robbed, and I guess everyone in the gas station had left. I think is how I got it, and she wanted to keep him there, so she started sucking his dick until the cops showed up.
Is that a true
And
story?
It's a true story. It's
Yeah,
on.
say,
I saw
remember-
a lot of articles about it.
How in the world does that even
Yeah.
happen? How in the what did she do?
What instinct do you have to where you're like, holy shit, there's a gun. I'm gonna suck his dick.
Yeah, right. That's a crazy ass instinct.
Like what? How? I don't know. I don't.
He's a
get
man with a
how-
gun.
It seems too
As
fake
a
to be
man
true.
robbing
Seems like something
the
out
store,
of a comedy movie.
how do you go from wanting to rob this store to wait, I want to get head?
Must have been his first
Yeah.
time robbing a store.
He's like,
This is what comes with it.
he probably walks in. He's like, oh, you
fucking
know,
love this.
All right.
Robbing sounds
I'm robbing this
fun.
store every day.
Like robbing the store sounds fun. And she's like, can I suck your dick? And you're like, you know what? Yeah.
How do you
I can
start
get two
that?
birds
Like,
with
hey,
one
you
stone.
You want some
Best
head?
rob ever. This is going perfect.
Man, it's the best first time ever.
I would have never expected me to go this way.
But it said he got arrested and all. The cops showed up and they arrested him.
Damn, he's like.
She was still. I guess. I think from what I understand from it, she was still sucking his dick when the cops got there. They were both naked.
She's like, I'll arrest him, officers.
You boys take over.
Wipes her mouth. Job complete.
Oh, get him. Book him, boys. Book him. He's empty.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
I sucked him dry. Book him.
Are you gonna tell a girl no if you're in the middle of robbing a place?
It depends on what she looked like.
She's
I don't know what
if she's from
Slovakian
Russia, I
women
can't
look
imagine
like.
it's that crazy.
So there's like two different types of Russians, right? Like the blonde hair, blue eyes Russians, and then like the dark haired Russians that are like Habib,
I think that's your.
right?
That Russian.
So she's like the Russians.
Macho Russian women.
Slovakians are then kind of like the Russians that
know.
wrestle bears and
Oh,
do
shit.
that shit, right? That's like the wooden
Okay.
Russians.
Do you think she wrestled him to the ground in almost a kinky manner and just started sucking his dick?
He was like,
know.
okay,
That's crazy.
can't say no now.
I don't know. I don't see like a situation where you're like, oh yeah, I guess I'll stop robbing this fucking store for you to suck my dick.
That literally is the most confusing part about that. Is he just decided that this is gonna take heed of my plan now? She can go ahead and just suck on.
It just doesn't make sense.
Imagine thinking you have enough time before the cops get there to get one off.
Exactly. You're just like,
You're
yes,
like,
this
okay,
is
real
fine.
quick.
What? You fucking blue ball yourself because you can't get a nut off before you get arrested? Jesus Christ, man. You're going into jail like, all right, somebody's got to finish me off.
They're like, freeze. And he's like, wait,
Wait, 5 more seconds.
wait a fucking minute, man. Oh, keep going, baby, keep going.
All right, what's your third one?
Well, the third one that I had was we were going to talk about the GameStop stock of the 22-year-old with the mortgage, but apparently that was fake. He duped
Oh,
it.
it was?
He turned it in. I guess he like tweeted it and then sent something into the New York Post, and they released an article
them
about it, and then
bastards.
they deleted it saying we've been duped, basically. So I guess he didn't actually
That
put
damn
up his
kid got him.
parents' mortgage.
That's how easy it is to finesse the fucking
Media, man.
news articles now, bro.
Yep.
You could tell them fucking anything,
They'll believe it.
and they'll be like, "Oh, that's got to be it."
Took out a mortgage at my family's house. Oh, really? You sure did. For $1,000, I'll give you the whole story.
The media is definitely trying to back these hedge funds in certain ways
Oh, yeah.
because I guarantee you they were thinking
That's what
like
these media
this
companies are
just
funded
proves
by.
that Robinhood did the right thing and people make stupid decisions like taking out a 22-year-old's taking out his parents' mortgage
and then it just-
that's
to
what
put it
these-
on GameStop stock.
That's what these companies are funded by. Is these fucking billionaire pricks.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, they gotta back them.
Yeah. That's what it's just so stupid. And then they like literally get on like TV and start crying and bitching about just poor people doing the same thing that they do. They just don't like it because they have more money.
I don't know, man. This shit's crazy. Like, so much shit happens in the media, and like, I guess it's just kind of transitions them right into what we were wanting to talk about. And like, you gotta kind of be able to find your escape.
Exactly.
Like, you gotta be able to step away, and you gotta be able to give yourself a at least a moment of just reality, because the media is not reality. The media creates a false narrative and creates so many things going on in your head to where you don't know what the fuck's real and you don't know what the hell is not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a crazy situation that we're in, that we're constantly in. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
even like you're in it one day and you're out the next. Like, we are constantly in this cycle of what the hell is real and what's not. Like, what do I believe? Who do I trust? Who do I
It's the worst.
know is going to be honest with me? Because you don't know, especially when it's coming from these media companies. Because somebody in like New York Times posts an article, that person might have a genuine honesty to them,
Right.
and that story is coming from everything that they have personally collected and gathered, and then they took a report to it. But then the next day you have a story come out and it's from somebody who's completely ill-minded and wants to do nothing but spread a false narrative, or took a false narrative and created quotes off of it, created a deeper story to it. Like, you don't know. That's
just
our
ruins the
biggest
credibility
problem.
for the honesty and the whole fucking. If they're both coming from New York Times, then it's just like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, like it's such a hard thing, because in all this madness, like, how do you find an escape? Like, how do you genuinely find an escape to step away from all of this shit? And because this stuff like this creates anxiety, man. It creates
Oh yeah.
it creates a deep-rooted anxiety. It creates a deep-rooted depression, especially with all this pandemic shit going on. Like,
Yeah, when you add in all the actual real-world problems that you go through on a day-to-day basis.
It just gets so deep within you to where you're like, I don't know who the fuck I can trust. Because you could even hear some stuff from your friends and you'd be like, bro, I don't know if you're telling me the truth right now.
Exactly.
Well,
Like,
they might be telling you the truth, but where they got it from might not be the truth.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
it gets so deep rooted, and some people get so carried away with the fact that they don't know who to trust to where it permanently affects their life. And like that's why so many kids our age are affected by this anxiety and depression, and especially the kids that are before us or younger. I'm just gonna say younger. They're younger than us.
That came before.
And so it just creates this form of anxiety that's a stronger root than what we came up with, which is just like we're anxious about the unknown, we're anxious about being in public crowds, we're anxious about stuff like that, where these kids are coming up with anxiety of who do I trust, who do I know is not going to lie to me, who is lying to me,
Like, just for all kinds of information.
on top of the social anxiety, on top of all these things that are normal feelings of anxiety.
Yep. I think we got the chance to grow up with curiosity, where we got to stay guessing on things and make our own opinions just based off what we've learned and personally experienced. And now I feel like kids are getting told everything. They're told everything, then that's what they believe. They don't come to that conclusion by themselves because they had a curiosity about it and they wanted to learn about it and get more knowledgeable. It's just told to them. They take that as the truth.
I think we were probably the last lucky generation because we got the beautiful thing called the internet, and we were the last ones to be able to use it freely without being. We could just look up what we want to look up, know what we want to know, and I feel like it's just going away now. It's just going to be, this is what it is. This is what you hear. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's odd because nobody likes misinformation, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard because I could think back and I would never remember a time in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, we could have people telling lies all over the place and that's fine. But then I think about it now and it's like, is that really a good thing to, even if these people just think it's an opinion or whatever, to shut all these people up or whatever? Or, I don't know. It's, who do you trust to make these decisions for everybody? How do you trust a company or one single person to make this decision for everyone? It's really hard to, like, you sit back and you think about it. And I think about it a lot to where it almost is something that you just can't worry about. It almost gets to that point where you have to, like, realize that it isn't something you can worry about. You just kind of have to rely on your instincts to know that, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't like how I feel about this. Or, okay, I understand how I feel about this or whatever. It's just like, the more and more we get deeper into, like, this pandemic and everything is more online than in the real world, it starts to show who can really form their own opinions, who can really look at this stuff and say, what the fuck is going on? Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, why can't we just want to know the truth about all this shit? And it's just, like, crazy because so many people are, like, okay with either thing happening for either side. Like whether it be, like, with the election and Trump and Biden, and people are, Trump could do whatever and they're okay with that. Biden could do whatever and they're okay with that. There aren't enough people who just don't critically think for both of them, who don't think that they could both make mistakes. They could both do good things and bad things. It's very possible for all this stuff to happen. And I feel like it all boils down to somehow social media creates these stigmatisms or these stereotypes of that's all it's trying to do is this is how it is, and you better believe this source right here because this is the most credible source. And if you don't believe that, then you're wrong. And it's like this. It's like believe me, no, believe me, don't believe them. And it's like this whole wrestling match of who can you believe and who can you not believe.
Well, I mean, how do you guys find your escape? Because, like, I know for me, like, my escape is, you know, after, say, like, maybe like 6 o'clock. Like, I'll come down here in my room. I'll just kind of, I mean, like, I'll sit there and just listen to music. Honestly, like, I'll try to stay off my phone. Like, the most I might do is Snapchat my girl, and that's it.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm just like, you know, I really need to focus on something else that's not the current pandemic, that's not the current issues that we're facing. And so I'll bury myself into the words of the music. So like it might not be some profound stuff that I'm listening to. It might be something like Future.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
I might be listening to Future, but like I think for me at least, that's where like people wonder why I know so many song lyrics for no reason. Like I can remember every
Right.
song lyric to a song.
You just be listening to songs.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can do the whole 6 foot, 7 foot song.
Hell yeah, boy.
But I can't tell you a math equation that I learned last year.
Yeah.
fuck no.
I've known that verse since God knows how long.
It just means something to you.
Yeah, well, in that and like it comes from a sense of peace. Like
Right.
that's where the knowledge comes from is a pure place of happiness, and like that song brings me happiness, and that knowing the words brings me joy. And
It's not a burden to have to listen to that song or think
yeah,
about that song.
when I listen to it, it's like I'm being elevated somewhere else that's a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? Wholesome.
Yeah.
And it just
Preach.
it just creates, and I mean, music is my escape.
Yeah,
And it's obviously not for everybody. You know, some people watch a lot of movies, some people read books, some people meditate, which is something I've tried to do, but
It's
that
really
shit
hard.
takes practice,
Yeah.
bro. It takes practice.
You got to be patient for that too, and I don't have the patience for it. I don't feel like.
But it's just, like finding your little escapes, even if it's not the biggest thing, even if it's not deleting all your social medias, if it's not turning off your phone, or going off to Colorado in the middle of the woods and getting a cabin.
Yeah.
Like if it's not
Sick.
like a physical escape, then creating your own form of an escape is something that's extremely important.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, as we see now, and it's getting more and more popular, is it's very easy to get caught up, and you're right into that current, and you're drowning with the current.
Yep.
I think it's a really big.
And there's thousands of people in there with you.
Oh yeah, you just, a lot of it is being like really critical of yourself. I feel like a lot of people, like when I say do what you want, like do what you want, people are telling me like I do what I want, but I want people to think like, is this really what I want to do right now? Where it is like when people, like when I was really depressed, I say this because I would think about stuff all the time that I didn't want to think about. I didn't want to think about my parents dying, my family dying, my dogs, cats, all my animals dying. I'm not going to have anybody anymore. I can sit and think about this shit for eternity because it's going to happen, but why? Like, why would I want to do this to myself? Why? And I don't want people to tell me, just don't think about it. And I could be like, oh, fuck you. I can't not just think about it. And I had to be so critical of myself to understand, like, why am I so obsessed with wanting to keep thinking about this? Why do I care so much about this? I tell people I don't care about it. I tell people I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people that I don't care about this, yet I constantly think about it all the time. And it had came down to, I was like basically punishing myself for thinking that I didn't deserve to be happy and to not worry about those things. I didn't deserve to be able to do what I wanted to do with my life because those things were going to happen, and they were going to happen, and no matter what I did, nothing was going to stop them. Now that may be true, but that doesn't mean that you have to ruin yourself for that, and it's going to happen. So why would I just stop my life and stop everything? Because it's going to happen no matter what I do now.
That's why I have to distract myself a lot of times, and my escape is movies, because whenever I have something on my mind like that, I can't let it go. It's going to be the only thing there
Very
the entire
hard.
day.
Yeah, it's really hard to
unless
let
I
go.
distract myself and I can escape into and see. I know we all smoke a lot of weed, obviously,
Well,
so
yeah.
that's a part of the escape. But whenever I take a dab, I turn on a movie, I can just get lost in that
Yeah, and
fantasy
just-
world, and the
yeah.
real world problems go away because I'm stuck on that mystery or whatever the case is in the movie. And I think that's important, having something that can distract you from
And
it.
I think even that stuff comes with practice, right? Like you can't just turn on a movie and it's like, oh, all my problems are gone.
Oh, hell
you
no.
You gotta learn to bury yourself into the story. Not even bury yourself into the story. You
Get
have to
lost in it.
You have to invest yourself into the story. Like even like I watch How I Met Your Mother all the time. Not a lot of people like it, but I do. and I invest myself in those characters. So I feel those emotions. You know, I'm with these characters, and as the story is developing and as the story falls apart and builds back and stuff like that, and I'm watching this and I'm feeling it. And so I think trying to connect yourself with the emotions of whatever story that you're watching, I think it's extremely important, because if not, then you're going to be watching, you might be watching with your eyes, but in between the ears, you're like, "Oh, okay, I got school tomorrow. I got to do this, I got to do that. People says this, people says that." Like you're thinking about everything but what's in front of you.
And when you get lost in a movie like that, you start to feel the movie. You feel the emotions of what's happening. You feel like you're actually there. Like if you're watching a thriller and, you know, you're on the edge of your seat, you actually feel like that when you're invested in it.
But I think the most important thing to do is learn how to take your escape and somehow connect it to the reality. And I think it's important to not necessarily connect your escape to the reality, but to bring the sense of peace and joy from whatever escape you had and transition it over into what your current reality is. So, like, say, you know, you get an immense joy from listening to one of A$AP Rocky's albums.
That's so random.
Yeah, I don't know. But in your reality, your parents are getting divorced.
Yeah.
So you gotta bring a bit of that inner peace that you get from the music, and kind of carry that peace throughout your situation, and try to think, okay, there's ways that I can remove myself from this situation when it feels like it's too much to deal with.
Look at it from a different perspective.
the
I
end
need to
of the
take
day,
this
it's still
piece
there.
and I need to deal with what's going on and control what I can control.
Yeah.
That's when you like if you're having problems, like when you have an issue like that, and like listening to that A$AP Rocky makes you feel better. That's honestly, and I know people don't like to feel better and then dive into their problems because they're not going to feel better anymore.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
But that's honestly the best time to think about your issues is when you're feeling better, because then you can realize what about this is so great that makes me feel so great. When I can pick something great out of what's happening with my life now that
exactly.
I can find out of that.
It's all about, when you're listening to the music, you're very present.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're in these situations that are not so good, it's super now, or in those moments more than ever, it's super important to still be present. Because if you're present, you're gonna find the good out of the bad.
Yeah.
You're just going to.
You gotta look.
Because when you're in it and you're mentally, you're physically, you're spiritually in that moment, you will find something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if the example is your parents are getting divorced, you're alive, you're breathing, you're okay.
Yeah,
your
there
parents
good
are
things
still
to
alive.
everything, for sure.
Your brother and sister are still alive.
Yeah.
There's things going on that you can take from this and recognize that it's a good thing and that you are blessed to be in the position that you are in.
And people can look at
Because
that.
a lot of people have it way worse. People have no parents. People have no brothers and sisters. People are completely alone, dead broke, living in the streets.
Yeah.
It's way fucking worse.
Could be.
It's
definitely.
way worse.
It's a perspective change. Once you take a step back and you start to realize, I mean, because everyone has their own problems, right? It might not be the biggest problems in the world, but to you, they're so big. They're the biggest thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's the biggest thing in your life.
That's all that's going on for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so once you find that balance where you can use your escape and use those things to your advantage to, you know, benefit yourself in
You
your life.
control things, and they don't control you.
Exactly. You can
Yep.
start to control your emotions, and you can realize, like, okay, I don't have to make big decisions when I'm upset or, you know, when I'm irrational, because I can wait till later that night when I
Decide
have a
what to
clear
do.
head, and then I'm like, okay, I see it from this side now, instead of, you know, when I'm in the heat of the moment.
And it's really hard for people to understand. I mean, it's really easy for like us to understand this now because we've been through the harder part and gotten to the better side of it. It's really hard for us to tell this to people who haven't seen the brighter side of it, because when you can't see the bright side, there is never going to be a bright side when you can't see it. So it always seems like nothing can relate to you. And so it's like I try to think, you know, if you feel like you can't relate, or you feel like well, this is just fucking bogus. This is bullshit. It don't mean nothing to me, and I don't see any light. And that is completely normal to feel like you don't like connect with that feeling, or you don't connect with, well, maybe I will feel better. If you don't feel like that, that's completely normal to have those doubts.
It's one of the trickiest things, because especially like when you were in that position, and it was me on the outside looking in.
It's confusing as fuck.
Well, it is, but it isn't, right? Because I've been in that position.
Right.
I've been down that road more times than I'd like to say.
And it's like, you just want to shake me the fuck out of it.
Yeah, because you know that's all it took for you.
Yeah, and I know that now too.
In reality, you have to recognize, especially, this is most important when you're outside looking in, you have to realize that it's going to take its course.
Yeah.
Whether they believe it or not, it's going to get better. And if you see that it's going down a point to where they might not reach that, and they, like, say somebody is suicidal, then you need to quite literally shake them.
Yeah, well,
But you just need to be aware, and when you're present in your own circumstances, you need to be also aware of what's going on around you, and aware of the people involved with you, because I think that's when you're able to recognize the most out of individuals, is when you are most present and aware.
And you will definitely, I can tell this from experience and being in therapy, when you start to care more about how you treat other people and how you react to other people, then you will learn so much more about yourself and who you really are, because of how you want to treat others. Not so much about how you treat yourself. I used to think, because of how I treated myself, that I was this big piece of shit and I was this fucking horrible person. I used to think you would hate me and Nolan would hate me, my girlfriend would hate me, and everybody would fucking hate me, because I didn't want to be around anybody, because I felt like I was a piece of shit. And it was me making that up about myself the entire time, because of things that I had made mistakes with or done in the past, and I could never let it go. I could never let that shit grow and become fucking heal. It was always just a scar. It was always just going to be painful until I decided to let it go away.
I mean, shit, bro. What a diverse podcast we had today.
No shit.
Right.
No shit.
Before we get any deeper, I figure we should just probably cut a little bit, because this conversation could go on for hours.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It really
we could
could.
fucking do another
podcast.
one of this shit.
Yeah, this is it's one of those things to where it's such a serious issue now, to where we could just talk about it.
Yeah,
all
and it's
fucking
always a
day
growing
long.
conversation, too.
Yeah.
Things can always change and shit, so
So, with that being said, if you guys are still listening for however fucking long we were doing this, we appreciate you listening. Thank you for tuning in with us. And as always, guys, we will see you next week. Peace out, guys.
See you later.